morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on folks. It's me, Always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Bobby Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, it's the full week of 2026. Like I said, tomorrow's gonna be the first full week because 2026 started on Thursday. We're on Wednesday. Uh, can you believe, folks? We're in a new year, and it seems like time flies. Like I said, reflecting on 2025, a lot of things happened. I had a pretty good year. I mean, went out of town, met some people, enjoyed myself, and also my channel is growing. I'm just a few people away from hitting 4,000. 4,000. Now, I've been doing this for at least 7 years. I don't buy any of my memberships or subscribers. I do this with hard work, consistency. I believe in that. And like I said again, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm too hot for some and just right for others. But this young lady, I happen upon her. Well, as you know, as I often am on IG and social media, and there's some ladies that just kind of draw my eye. And one of my favorite beings, that in fact, not just being in bodybuilding, but also one of my favorite other identities. I am Jerome, and I am an international player from the Himalayas. So we have here OCB Pro Hannah Mitchell. Now, Hannah competed just about a couple of months ago at the Ben Weider Natural Pro Qualifier. And she's also OCB Figure Pro. She's been in the game for at least 3 years. She's competing in a couple other organizations like NPC and BCA. So we're going to welcome her and thank you for her time. She's also a posing coach. So if you are a competitor interested in maybe getting some posing in, working with somebody, she might be your girl to call. So welcome, ma'am, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, and what an introduction. What a great start to the year. Yes, I'm so grateful for being here. I'm very excited for what we can talk about to help just educate people further amongst potentially posing and, of course, natural bodybuilding.
Well, tell me, love, as you know, she's from the UK. You got that lovely accent. So tell me, love, what got you started in this sport, as I call it, muscle masculinity? Please share.
So I know that you just said, oh, I've been in the game for around 3 years. I've actually been competing since 2019, and I've actually been in the gym weightlifting since I was 15, and I've actually been on stage since I was 3 years old. So for me, the stage is definitely not somewhere that I am new to, that's for sure. I actually started the gym as most women, I feel. Well, when I was younger, I was bullied. Kids horrendous, mean. I was very overweight, and with that, I started just attending cardio and gym classes. One day, it was completely fully booked, so I just started hopping around on some of the gym pieces outside of the gym class. Have no clue what I was doing, and it honestly just clicked from there. I just started doing that instead, going lifting weights. I started writing my own programs. Like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't get a coach for another 10 years because I just started to really engross myself in learning more and more. Instagram and platforms like that back then weren't anywhere near what they are now. There was only, Reddit and forums, magazines even, right? So I just started to really engross myself in everything. But at the same time, I was studying, I was still dancing. I competed in dance, like I said, from the age of 3 all the way up till I was 21. So it very slowly became a massive part of my life. But it wasn't until, like I said, 2019 that I decided to embark on an actual prep and finally get on stage. So it all started there.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Extensive life, when you're young. I can understand because I was bullied when I was younger because I was a bigger kid. I was poor. My family didn't have a lot.
Yeah.
And it's one thing is that bullying can maybe mold you or it can break you depending on the person.
Yes.
So, what was that experience like when you first got on the stage, like, in your first competition?
So, funnily enough, this is probably the worst advice to anyone listening. My first prep was 6 weeks. Um, but with that, I don't know if you are kind of aware of the different categories that are within the UK, within PCA specifically. So we've got toned figure and athletic figure. So you're probably used to seeing women that are more towards the conditioning of athletic figure. Whereas in my first season, I started with the aim of going for bikini, junior bikini, and then pretty much 5 weeks out from that show, my coach at the time was like, actually, try these poses. It was toned figure. And then it was like, cool, we're doing a show in 5 weeks. And I was like, okay. So because at the time, again, in 2019, there wasn't really much going on. I wasn't following too many people that had competed either, had no idea what to expect. But I'm very much someone, I just do what I'm told. Like, I don't question things. You could literally push me into the ground. I would eat shit if you wanted me to. No drama. And I ended up doing things like obviously ridiculous amounts of cardio. I think at one point I was like level 16 on the Stairmaster, like things like that, because I was just running up those stairs, right? Kate Bush style, running up that hill. And I just wanted to do whatever that plan was set in front of me. The reason I actually embarked on a bodybuilding prep in, again, a bit of vulnerability, I guess, is my life kind of fell apart. I was like living in London at the time, and everything around me, without going too much into it, like my partner at the time, like my family members were ill, so much was happening, and I just needed to throw myself into something to just focus, to kind of get myself out of bed, right? So I moved home at that point, and I just decided I'm going to do something for me, and that's where I just started this bodybuilding prep. When I finally got on stage, it was with, again, the PCA toned figure, and I absolutely adored it. Obviously, stepping on stage again, I was not well. I wasn't, shy from stepping on stage. I learned posing through mostly just watching people. And I ended up taking second in my first ever show in an amazing lineup of ladies as well. And then 2 weeks later, I did it again and I took first. So it was a very successful kind of start to my bodybuilding career. The journey itself, even though it was 6 weeks and even though it was brutal, if anything, I think it was the best thing that could have happened, because anything after that was easy, right? Like, if I can do that in 6 weeks, then the preps that I do to follow, piece of piss, really. I can do, if I can do the same amount of work, but in 20 weeks, then it's fine. I definitely love the challenge of always trying to be better and do better. And for me, that is what bodybuilding encompasses. And that's what allows me to continue progressing, maybe not even just in bodybuilding, but in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thing about life, it's always a test of your mindset when you get to a sport, because there's a lot of work to it. Like especially the everyday person, we look at bodybuilding, it's about you're taking steroids, but you are a natural competitor, and it takes a lot more time for you to build those aesthetics when it comes to muscle size, conditioning. And I've heard of those divisions. Was it again?
Toned figure.
Tone figure, and also,
Athletic figure.
athletic figure, because I think they do it in NABA. That's NBBA.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, NABA, yes.
yeah. And it's kind of like, one's kind of like a version of physique and high heels. The other one's kind of like, figure. It's just easy.
A bit softer. Yeah.
Less soft and more feminine. So, so after that, and I can understand going through, because one thing was about me was I was taking my mom. She was sick for a long time until she passed. And doing this content kind of helped me while I was taking care of her. That's tough. And I understand with the situation where, being in a relationship with somebody and just not going well. Like, I've talked to quite a few ladies, because that's one thing what helped them was doing bodybuilding, because, it kind of brought some peace and helped them with the stress.
Yeah. I think bodybuilding, like, yes, it just provides you so much structure and focus that whatever is going on around you, that in those 2 hours a day, or however it might be, however long that you are in the gym, you kind of don't have to think about anything else. You don't have to think about the responsibilities. You don't have to think about what have you got to do when you get home. So it just allows you that 2 hours of kind of mental clarity and peace. So I can definitely resonate with that.
Yeah, so simple. So, folks, while we have her here and we're talking with the lovely Miss Mitchell, we're going to do this. We're going to jump to her social media for a bit, not too long. We're just going to look at some stuff, some pictures and videos. You want to follow her? Her links description of the live. So again, if you're interested in working with a posing coach, she's also links there. But I say this to you guys out there, and Hannah, I have to tell you, I have another complexion about myself. I have a crime. I call it. I got to admit, I am a muscle person. Oh, y'all ladies, y'all buff people ladies excite me. Sometimes it just, it brings out another part of me. It brings out this other guy. I try to keep him under wraps because he just loves the muscle women. They're so fit and toned. They excite him. They complete him. But what this is why I do this, guys. Guys, we do follow her. You reach out to her. She's a lovely, nice young lady. She's a cute little girl here. Guys, no D pics. Stop it. Control yourself. I know most of the guys here, they're like the big buff women. Like,
that's it. I'm not their cup of tea, so it's fine.
But some guys have a taste for like little nice lean little girls. They like to play with. I want to play with like a little bunny rabbit. So but guys, be respectful. Reach out and generate interest, and also support these ladies. That's why I keep telling you guys. Yeah, I think you're sick freaks. I know because I'm one of you. So here we're going to jump into her social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, link in the description of her live here. So here he is, and this was when you got your OCB card. What was the show, and what was that feeling for you? Now you are OCB Pro.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was definitely a dream come true. Like I said, the Yorton Cup has been something that I've been kind of pinned on the board for the past decade, really. So it was absolutely phenomenal to be able to not just achieve that within my first year in America, but be able to have my partner there with me as well. And it was the last show of the season too. So a real cherry on the top, really.
Yeah, this is Team Day. Who's this? Is this your man?
Yeah, that's my partner, Nat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, your partner. Your partner. Like, see, when y'all young folks say partner, when I'm saying like this, I'm saying, is that your man, or that's just the work you work with?
That's my man.
That's old fashioned. Y'all see these partners like Robin Banks or something. So that's your man. Okay, all right, we get that straight. I know he probably say, hey, I love you, baby, but I tired of that partnership. We're not like, hey, was that 50-50? You're cool, but I'm your man. That's what y'all young people, y'all your words, like that. But what's his name? And he's competing to us too.
Yeah, so he's called Nat Nathaniel. He's an open assisted bodybuilder, of course, and he will be starting prep in February. So he will be getting back on stage after 4 years of actually not being on stage. So going from a junior to actually stepping on stage with the big boys. So we're getting very ready for that.
And also, as we said earlier, you're a posing coach. And what got you into posing coaching?
So I've actually, as I mentioned right at the beginning, I've actually been a dancer since I was 3 years old. And that, again, obviously took me through gradings and shows and, competitions all across decades, right? And with that, when I started competing in 2019, a lot of the people that I met that year while I was competing, I was just helping them for free. I was just helping them because they reached out to me and they were like, oh, they spoke about my presence on stage and how I was able to, even as a first timer, I was really able to kind of captivate the judges, etc. And so it was really incredible for me to be able to use my 20 years of dancing and be able to combine that with the new passion that I had found for bodybuilding, creating routines, eye walks. And from there, when I started helping people for free, honestly, word of mouth just kind of got around, and it really started to pick up. At the time, I was actually a multiple myeloma cancer research specialist. So I was working in a lab Monday to Friday. So I started helping people on the weekends through video calls and in person. And then I actually took Team Poser with Hannah, is what we're called. You can find us on Instagram and on our website. And when I actually then took that into a LTD, a limited company. And since then, we have grown from not just me, but we are now a team of 7. That is coaches and people that are part of the team of the behind the scenes side of things. As you can see here, this is our 2026 upcoming calendar. So we don't just do video calls, we do in-person lessons across England, Scotland, Wales, Ireland, Belgium, Italy. We run retreats, we run photo shoots, we run community days, and we even run free weekly calls to educate, empower, and inspire, because we have a massive community behind us. So that is us in a nutshell. It's been absolutely incredible. We've been able to work with hundreds of athletes internationally, bring them not just to the stage, but build them with so much confidence and get them to where they deserve to be, get them the, yes, confidence, but again, like the pro cards, as you just in there.
Yeah, and here she is with her man. She'll out chilling.
That was actually Christmas Day.
Oh yeah, Christmas. How was your Christmas? You enjoyed it?
Yeah, loved it. Absolutely loved it. It was incredible. We actually ended up hosting. So we had all the family around.
That's great. It's cool. Like I said, you have a. I would say you have a great aesthetically pleasing physique. It's not. If you look at, especially if you look at the levels in NPC and IFBB and other organizations, it's not too overpowering. It's. I think it's more athletic aesthetic, especially if you're doing figure and doing physique.
I feel so. I currently coach myself, but I was working with Kuba Chellen for 6 years, and he taught me pretty much everything. He was not the one that put me on, did a 6-week prep, by the way. That was a different coach. Just have to outline that. But Kuba Chellen actually taught me absolutely everything that I know. He was an incredible mentor within my whole journey through, yes, as an athlete, but also so much within my mental development as well. And through that, we have found different approaches that do work for me. But I feel genetically, my structure, I don't have a tiny waist. I'm not someone that is genetically gifted in that way. So I've had to build a lot of my upper body to kind of hide the fact that I am quite wide waisted. With that, I feel the physique division may be something that is my long-term goal, because if I stand next to someone who is genetically gifted with a smaller waist, they will always, of course, look better, different, so physique will probably more so be my long-term goal here, but I also know that takes time, right? So I am 29, but I've only been bodybuilding, I guess, since the past 6 years, and I don't see myself hanging up the heels anytime soon. I could see myself doing this for another 10, 15 years. But that photo right there, that was my start to my end with Kuba Challenge. So like I said, we've done a lot. And I feel that this is still, I'm just scratching the surface. So I can still do more. My focus this off season is actually working quite a lot significantly on my glutes and hamstrings, as I do feel my back shot that lets me down when in a lineup, but also on my arms, because again, I'm 5'8", so I'm very long limbed, so things kind of can look very stringy. Like that shot just looks so stringy, doesn't it?
Yeah, because like I said, the thing is, you want to be more fuller. You want more, size, especially in the glutes, more width and depth in your back, especially if you're going to do women's physique, because
Yeah.
that's the one thing. The back can make or break how you place in a show. If you don't have fullness, roundness, you want that, especially as a figure competitor, in that division, they want that great cap in the shoulders, good
Yes.
width. Um, but like I said, again, you're doing this naturally, which is going to take you a lot more time. I know natural competitors say because it takes them maybe a year to put on maybe 5 or 6 pounds worth of muscle, compared to an enhanced competitor. It does take them more than maybe barely, I would say, 8 weeks to a month.
Well, the other side of it is you have to think there's also when you are a natural athlete, say you look at blood work, for example, you could have two natural athletes and their predisposition to putting on tissue is still wildly different. So for me, for example, up until very recently, when you look at my blood work, my testosterone is through the floor. It's actually below range. So for me to actually grow muscle, even not even, but as a natural athlete, is even harder when you compare me to another natural athlete, let alone someone that is obviously utilizing exogenous hormones. So that's what is quite funny about the natural world, is everyone thinks, oh, it's a level playing field. No, it's not. Like, there's still people that are still genetically gifted at that. Even their blood work will allow them, if they've got high testosterone levels, they're going to put on tissue better, easier and faster, right? So that's been a part of my journey the past couple of months specifically. I've been going down, which you may have seen through a few of the Instagram posts there, a bit of a gut health journey where I actually was able to link the fact that I was having histamine reactions to a lot of food that I was eating. These histamine reactions were actually causing a flip-flop between my thyroid function, so leading to hyper and then hypothyroidism, which was of course affecting my thyroid function, and then also off the back of that causing my testosterone levels to be so significantly low. So with doing an elimination diet and then a reintroduction diet, and also focusing on quite a few other areas, my focus this off season is going to be naturally increasing my testosterone, and just having overall a healthier functioning body, because a happy body is a responsive body, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's smart to use the right practices. Like I said, everybody's different. Like I've seen ladies who are natural competitors who look like they could work, they can actually walk on the stage in
Yeah.
NPC.
Yeah.
I've seen ladies like yourself who have, still not there just yet, but it's going to take you more time because you don't have that same aesthetic or genetics as that other competitor.
I'm cooking. It's fine. Let me cook.
I think I often when I'm a conversation with ladies, this is not a race; it's a marathon. And the thing is, you don't want to burn yourself out too soon, and that's usually, I think, it happens. I think more often with the with the more enhanced competitors, because just recently there was a couple of deaths that happened. Some competitors get burnt out. I know one lady who I follow, she decided to retire from competitive bodybuilding, not just
Yeah.
because of what she doing, how work she was taking. It was mostly because the expense. Because you got to think about it. Even as bodybuilding is not very lucrative. There's not a lot of
Oh God, no. You
because you
can't be
do,
in bodybuilding
yeah.
for the money. No. God, no. You can't be in bodybuilding for the money. If that's the aim, even I know so many pro athletes, and I'm talking IFBB pro athletes, they're not getting anything from being a pro. You have to be, in my opinion, you have to be in bodybuilding for the love of it. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, there's positives and negatives that come off the back of the fact that bodybuilding is becoming a lot more popular. There's a lot of people that are coming into the sport, but the issue is the people that are coming into the sport that are staying for 1 or 2 years, they're then leaving the sport and actually tarnishing the sport by saying, oh, bodybuilding caused me to have this eating disorder, bodybuilding caused me to, have this mental health issue. Realistically, it's not bodybuilding, it's you. So it's kind of the fact that people are using bodybuilding to either try and like mask eating disorders, or to overcome issues in their life, when all bodybuilding is eating and training, man. That's it. I think the people that are thinking that they're causing all these issues, they're actually trying to use bodybuilding to fix their life, which at the end of the day, you have to just love the routine and the structure. Like me, again, I've been competing since 2019, so this is my 6th year, no, 7th year going into this, and there's not a day that I don't wake up and I'm like, yeah, can't wait to train. Right? Genuinely, not a day. Through my prep, through my off season, I don't struggle with eating. I don't struggle with being hungry. Like, if I'm hungry, I'm like, thank God, this means this is working. I think people think that they'll start a prep and then it gets hard and they're like, oh my God, this is hard. I don't know what you expected. It's literally meant to be hard. You're not meant to be inside out peeled. Why did you sign up to something if you thought it was going to be easy? It's not the point.
Yeah, that's the thing that I learned a long time ago. Anything worth having is never going to be easy, because you know what, you have to work it. You have to be, because with this thing about it, you have to be consistent, persistent, determined.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand there's so much you have to sacrifice. Like, and you talk about your earlier career, like that was working. You work in the lab as a, what was it again? Was it
I was a
pharmaceutical?
no, I am multiple myeloma research specialist. So, like
Oh,
a blood cancer.
oh, you know,
Yeah.
what was that like? What got you into that?
So my studies, I did pharmacology as my undergraduate degree, and then I did cancer pharmacology as my master's degree in London, and then I spent 4 years working for a company, a private company, doing research and development, working on their testing kits to improve, obviously, the testing for blood cancer. I loved it. I obviously, it was a massive passion of mine since I was very young. I am an academic person, which has probably allowed me to really throw myself all into the bodybuilding side of things. Like, although I am natural, I still love learning about the assisted use. Like, for me as a pharmacologist, that is exactly my jam. I spent how many years understanding drug kinetics and the use of drugs, etc. So with that, I didn't leave cancer pharmacology to do bodybuilding. I left because it was no longer giving me happiness, right? So I'm a big advocate. Without getting the violins out, my life growing up was not easy. And what I have learned over these years is I'm always going to follow what makes me happy. Doesn't matter if it's less money, doesn't matter if it's more work. If it brings me happiness, I would rather do that 20 times over. And I got to a point within my other career that every single day I was just dreading going. And I was like, that's not me. So I'm going to do something about it,
Yeah,
basically.
I can say I'm getting tired of the grind. You know, I was when I was a much younger man, I was holding down two jobs. I was working at, as you call it, I worked at a petrol station. I was a gas
Hmm.
station down here.
Yeah.
I worked in textiles. Worked two jobs. I went to school for a little bit, but not long. You know, I
Hmm.
just, you know, life is about, you know, trying to keep yourself above water, especially in the
Mm.
States. I
Yeah.
lived with my mom most of my life, you know, and also had a job where I worked at a gentleman's club.
Okay.
I used to remember the guys who say, "Man, George, you know what's like." I say, "Hey, dude, man, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes you have the good days, have your bad days. The girls, when they make your money, they're good." Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing is that you got to find something that makes you happy, that you
Yeah.
get to enjoy. You know, there's a difference between having a job and having a career. A
Yeah.
job is just to pay the bills. A career is something you
Mm.
can really love. And bodybuilding, like I said, when I reach out to some of you ladies, you tell me your stories of how it was something that really fire your inspiration for your life. Again, it goes back to the expense of it because I say it like this. For this is how I like this. when you look at one side of it, like the male side of it, where they had their expense, like what they use and stuff like that. But truthfully, on show day, all you gotta do is wear a pair of banana hammocks and board shorts. That's it.
Yes.
Put on some tan. Y'all
Yes.
ladies, on show day, that's your big suspense. Your
Yeah.
suits, your hair, your makeup. You have to have that combination of both femininity and muscularity. You're wearing the
Mm-hmm.
high heels. I
Mm-hmm.
know I've talked to ladies who do figures. They get tired of high heels because they're like, they keep this look like, God.
See, you know what? There's actually a lot that I have to say on all of that, because when it comes to, it wasn't that I was bored of the grind. That's not why I left. So since I've actually had a job since I was 14, and since then, all the way through my degrees, etc., I always had around 2 or 3 jobs at one time. So they ranged from working in a pub. Do you know what a pub is?
Yeah, it's a club. That's what it
No,
is.
a
It's
pub.
like a pub's like for us it's like a club. Remember, you might call it a pub.
A
We might call
tap
it a
room?
club. We
No,
call it
no,
we call it like a nightclub or something like that, or party club.
no. So a nightclub's like the nighttime. A pub is like,
It's
yeah.
still, to us, it's still a club. We call that club, be it
Okay,
day or
well,
night.
it's
We
fine.
that's
Anyway,
you remember this? I'm America. See, this is America, girl. This is
yeah,
America.
we'll go
This is
with it. So
America.
I worked in pubs. I actually was like a dancer in a club, like in a nightclub for a while. Like I've worked in Gap. I don't know. Yeah, you know Gap. Like I've done so many jobs, sales, like all sorts, right? So it's not that I have any issue with the grind. If anything, I work so much more now. So like I said, it was definitely moving away from just turning up for a paycheck to actually now, yeah, I actually work around 14, 15 hours a day now. So it's very different now. I've got my whole team. I'm a manager, I'm a director, like of 2 companies. It's just very, very different. But I love it. Like I think you could even see it in my face, right? And then when you talk about the expenses of the shows, etc., I'm someone, again, I am very frugal with everything that I do. I think even if I was someone that I had millions in my bank account, I probably would still be like this. But it's because I think when you've been brought up with nothing, you're always too scared to realistically spend when it's unnecessary.
I can feel you on that because my family, I grew up poor.
Yes.
My parents were sharecroppers. That means we worked
Mm,
somebody else's land. I did it for a little bit when I was like about 10 to 12 years old, and I got my
mm,
job at the gas station when I was 16. We didn't have much anything. My parents were together 55 years, even though my dad was living up north in New Jersey, and my mom was here in North Carolina with the 6 of us, plus my 2
wow.
nephews. She had to raise us pretty
Yeah.
much by herself. Me, I had 3 older sisters. I had an older brother, a younger brother, and then me and my oldest nephews.
Mm,
And I understood the value of money. Sometimes, hey, again, I was working since I was a lot younger than you. I was about 10 years old when I started working and doing stuff like
mm,
that, little stuff, field work. And that's hard on, especially like
yeah.
for me, this is a true story about myself. When I was just 39 years old, I had a heart attack.
Mm,
And it was at work. I wasn't sure it was a heart attack. I thought I was sick. I used to work in a meat packing process. I went to cold department.
right.
I thought I was getting a cold. So I go and I say, I got to go home. But where I lived there was like a good way, way, way. So my sisters lived a little closer over. So I went over there. And then they said, you're not looking right. I said, okay, I'm fine. Just go over here. I went to, what do you call it? We call it urgent care. They go check you out. It's Ms.
Yes. Yeah.
MacArthur, something's wrong with your blood. We're going to send you to the hospital, which is Cape Fear Valley, one of the biggest hospitals in North Carolina. And they told me Miss McCarthy had a heart attack. I thought I was having that's what I thought a heart attack would be. But
Mm,
it told me that my fracture was very low. And that's when I first met my first British person was my doctor told me, Miss McCarthy, your fracture is under 12%. And we have to go to surgery for a pacemaker immediately. I said, wow. And then after that, I worked for a good bit, quit. My mom got sick. I took care of her, and then I had to take care of myself. I don't work anymore. I get what we call Social Security disability because it's
mm,
hard to find. Like we have one of these in your chest. Most people don't want to hire you. Plus, I'm
mm,
getting older now because I've been working since I remember. I got 2 bad knees with arthritis, like
mm,
Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know,
mm.
but this is something I enjoy hearing your ladies' stories about what got you into it. Because at one point, like I said, I was almost 500 pounds.
Mm,
And then, because I was thinking about my mom a long time, and I found food as a pleasure. And doing this content helped me, my mindset. But then
mm,
it was time for me to take care of myself.
yeah.
And right now I'm at 416. That's the lowest. I was a little low before, but then I had a situation, you know, stuff happened and just, I'm trying to get back into it again. But
Mhm.
that's the thing is about this. When I do interviews with you ladies and you share your stories, that really inspires someone like myself to maybe, I can do better.
I think that's so lovely to hear as well, because I think, I am someone on social media where a lot, I guess, you can have such perceptions of people. And I know people have perceptions of me. And the thing is, I know who I am and you know who you are, and people can have their like thoughts and their perceptions of us, but as long as you know that you are a good person, you have good intentions, like all those perceptions, that they don't matter, right? But I think that's why it's so amazing to have the opportunity to have these discussions, because it does allow people to see, I think so many people see my life now. I have my own home. I have an incredible life that I just can't even imagine is my life. And sometimes I just want to say to people, you have no idea what I've been through to get to here, because all they see is the right now, right? So I think it's amazing that you are allowing people to also have these opportunities. But with regards to the expenses of the bodybuilding shows for women, I'm very fortunate in that I work with a bikini company. She's called Miss Bikini Fitness. She's in Scotland, and she does sponsor me for suits. I don't keep them, but I get to design them, and then she like rents them or sells them following, my seasons. So that's incredible. And I actually do my hair and makeup myself. And as you can see, I am not that girl. I am every day. I don't wear makeup. I brushed my hair for you. You're welcome. I know. I know.
I feel so special.
Yeah, you
I
should.
she I just all I did was just put on my shirt, shit, and shave. And that was it. That was me. But I feel so
So
special.
yeah, so I'm not a makeup girl, but like I did one makeup class and I was like, right, because say I do 6 shows, makeup can be 140 quid, right? So I'm there saving what, how 800 quid by just being like, yeah, that'll fucking do. And then the other side of it is tan. So you can of course get your tan done when you're there. I used to do my tanning all myself in the seasons to follow. Obviously now I have my partner, my man, sorry, apologies, my
No,
man.
no, don't apologize to me. Apologize to him because is he there? Is he there with you? Is he there with
uh
you?
yeah, he's got headphones on so he can't hear you. Do you
Well,
want
if
to say something?
you want to come in, son. You
Okay,
want to
one
talk
minute.
about.
Oh no, he's working.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, we're telling me this. That's the thing is, you got to remember, he's a man. But okay, but yeah, that's the thing is
But
that
yeah,
you
so
got to find.
he does my tan now. So like all those expenses you just mentioned, I've made sure basically that there are ways that you can minimize that. Like, but that's the same with the posing coaching team that I have. We have packages available to ensure that people don't get caught short on being like, God, these expenses are really piling up. So instead, we've got these packages to kind of help people to make sure it is affordable for a lot of people. And that's why we put the events on as well, so that you can come to group events that's like a one-off ticket where you're still getting so much education. We put the free weekly calls on to again help people. So I hear it. I hear it and I'm doing something about it. And I want to make sure that bodybuilding is inclusive for the people that have the desire and the wish to be able to become better.
Yeah. Well, if you want to share your Miss Bikini link, I know some ladies in the UK and also in Europe, they're probably looking for maybe a suit designer.
Yeah.
That's reasonable. You can send it to my IG and I'll share it with them. Yeah, you got to find ways because, like, conversation where I have quite a few people, especially one of my friends, he's an IFB pro. Shout out my big brother, Mr. Big Keith Williams. He told me that, sometimes you have to steal from Peter to pay Paul. And the game is that if you're maybe the lucky few who do make a living from it. Like
Mm,
one of my favorites is, and she's a lady who I'm a fan of, and that is Miss Andrea Shaw.
oh,
Oh,
just
oh,
just wow.
yeah, just just so beautiful. I can't help myself. I gotta. I know. If, too bad. If one of if any of you suspects were here, they'll be picking on me about this because a friend of mine, her name is Eunice, and Eunice runs her own company called Bad Rap. I'll see if we can check it out. Eunice was
Yes,
at
I mean,
she was at the Olympia back in 2023 when they had it in Orlando. And what, like I said, there's a quote I often say from one of my other half. It says, "If you give it something, never do it for free." And and for me, this has been a payment for me. I had this for quite going to be 3 years coming up at the end of this year.
hmm
This is an issue of muscle development with Andre on the cover. My friend Eunice, she saw her there at the Olympia, and she did this for me. She sent it to right a little bit right after my birthday. It was my, and what makes it so great is when the champ numbers the world's greatest female bodybuilder, women's bodybuilder, tells
yeah,
you she thanks me for my support.
that's incredible.
And I have gotten stuff from ladies who have done interviews with, like, send me pictures and thank yous, and they give me shout outs. I even got a while back, I went to I don't do a lot of traveling because,
Mm.
I'm in but I went to Tampa this past summer and I got to meet now number two in the world. She was number three in the world at the time, Ashley Jones.
Yeah.
And also, I got to meet. She was number three, but now she's down number four. I got to meet Sharonica Hinton. I mean,
We're
she.
planning on coming to Tampa this year, so if we do, I'll let you know.
Yeah, okay. And also, I got to meet a man who was when I was growing up. This was the biggest celebrity I've ever met in my life. I met quite a few others there, but this is a man, David Lee Roth, Diamond Dave, the lead singer. That's my friend Eunice. She runs the company Bad Rap.
Eunice looks
He
amazing.
Yeah, she won. That day before she won women's 55 plus in the women's physique open, pro, and she's 60,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't think she's, I mean, she's my sister. I love her. Sometimes I call her my girlfriend. I gotta share with her husband, so I gotta be careful. But it's this thing about when I hear your ladies' stories and what inspires you, and really, I gotta give you all respect because this is like anything. This is hard. Most everybody wouldn't be able to do what y'all do, and you're not even an enhanced competitor. You're natural. It takes you more time. You have to really, put more work in. The diet is somewhat to somebody, but it's like, what's your diet like? What's it like for you? Because you're kind of a string bean.
I'm on 3,200 calories, I'll have you know.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I can actually get up my diet like on my actual sheets in front of me because I actually have all my tabs open. But yeah, my diet is great. It's mostly whole foods. So as I mentioned to you kind of at the start of the chat, I'm currently have it in a bit of a reintroduction phase for following my elimination diet, right? So I have mostly whole foods as is, but my current food, it is like meal one, eggs, egg whites, sweet potato, veg, berries. Meal two, chicken, rice, blueberries, dark chocolate. Then I have intra workout, and then for post workout, oh my gosh, you'll actually know. Well, you might know what this is: rice and grinds.
Greens, is that grinded rice? I think it's
It's from Pride Food. Basically, it's like only in America. But so I can't have any sweeteners, right? They really fuck me up. So stevia, sucralose, things like that. What I can have is monk fruit, which in the UK we don't use. So I have to import products from America for me to be able to use because they contain monk fruit. Because otherwise, I can't use any flavored products, which is so boring. So something called rice and grinds, which is from America, which is imagine like cream of rice, if you've heard of that, like
yeah.
flavored basically rice. And again, I have that with chicken and berries, and then so I have 6 meals a day. My next meal is prawns, veg, almond butter, caramel rice cakes. My next meal, beef, sweet potato, veg. And then my next meal before bed She's a big boy. It's actually over 1,000 calories, my final meal, because I could talk about nutrition for hours, but I'm not going to bore you. But in my opinion, one of the most important meals is your pre-bed meal to be able to sleep better, etc. Yes, and sleep is everything. Again, in my opinion, as a natural bodybuilder, especially, sleep is absolute king. So my final meal is egg white powder, buckwheat, oats, blueberries, dark chocolate, almond butter, pumpkin, and chocolate rice cakes.
No fish?
I love fish. I have prawns earlier in the day. If I want fish, I do, because I coach myself now, I do actually swap things out. So that's my training day meal. I actually have training day nutrition and rest day nutrition, where my training day nutrition macros slightly differ. So my training day macros are higher calories, higher carbs, and slightly lower fat. Whereas my rest day, slightly lower in calories, but quite significantly higher fat and lower carb. Simply because obviously dietary fats are so important for hormonal health, etc. But carbohydrates are obviously extremely important for performance. And I actually run quite a high, as you probably can tell, quite a high protein diet. So for example, my training day macros are 218 protein, 60 fat, 446 carb. And then my rest day macros are 215 protein, 87 fat, 260 carb. So on my rest day, I'll have like salmon and tuna. So I do have fish in there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing important about, especially being a bodybuilder, or just anybody who's training, working out. The diet is most important about. Also, rest,
Yeah.
recovery. Take the time to rest. Take the time to recover, because it's with you. You are natural. You don't use performance enhancers because that's what thing. It helps repair the tears in the muscle.
Sleep is everything. Like the work that you do is, I wouldn't even say half of it. I'd say less. It's what you can only progress from what you can recover from, basically. So your food as a natural, the only tools you have in the box are food and sleep. That's it.
Yeah, and you coach yourself. Wow, just not a lot of competitors do that, because most of the time they get a coach because they want to work on some things. Sometimes you might miss some things, and that coach might have that eye for it. You might can catch some things that you might miss, and that's tough. So, what got you decided to become your own coach?
So, as I mentioned, I was coached for 6 years with Kuba, and he taught me so much, and we left on extremely great terms. Honestly, I just felt it was the right time. I wanted to experiment with quite a few things. So, for example, the high protein tolerance. I wanted to see how much protein I could digest, because I read a lot of articles, right? With my cancer pharmacology background, I love research. So I love seeing all these different approaches. And there was just quite a few methods that I wanted to see what I could do. And I truly believe only you know how you feel, but you have to be self-aware enough to process that. And you also need to be able to not make emotionally driven decisions. So with the years of kind of self-work as an athlete, but also just as a person, I've been able to really subjectively look at my own physique over the years and be like, okay, that's something that I want to improve. That's something that I want to change. And we just got to a point within my kind of competitive journey where I was like, okay, I'm now definitely ready to make those own decisions myself. Like post show, a lot of people really struggle with that, seeing their body change, etc. For me, I very easily just flip the switch. I know I need to grow. I know I need to gain weight. So I'm absolutely fine with that. And I've really been able to make the decisions. Again, that's how I've been able to get my calories to where they're at. My health is in a great place. Even just being just under 7 weeks post show, I've actually regained my cycle, that's previously taken me 6 months to get back. So I just feel over the decades that I've been working on my own fitness and learning and absorbing, that I'm now able to start doing it all myself and experimenting a little bit more.
We have here this is my man KL the Wanderer. He's been to OCB shows. He also I call him the King of
Amazing.
OCB. He says this says morning, good afternoon. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Also, he says he says, are you a nutritionist?
So, funnily enough, I actually did my nutrition diploma qualification back in 2018. Whilst I was doing my master's in cancer pharmacology, I did an online diploma, and that wasn't to get clients or anything like that. That was for my own education purposes. So, yeah, I am.
That's good. That's important. Nutrition is very important about as a bodybuilder because you know what, you can't just go eat cheeseburgers and you
No,
can't
sir.
just eat milkshakes. You gotta like I said, have whole foods, healthy foods. You
Well,
know.
it's not just about, say, like the equal spread of the day, in my opinion. So your macronutrition breakdown is extremely important for different parts of the day. So I've already mentioned to you about the pre-bed meal, right? You want fats in there to be able to slow digestion because you're not going to be eating for another 10 hours. You want to be able to have high carbs in there to be able to sleep well, sleep through the night, have deep sleep, not just light sleep. But then you've also got to think, okay, pre-workout nutrition, what are you prioritizing here? Dark chocolate is incredible for pumps, but also it's a fat to be able to again slow digestion. Blueberries an antioxidant, but also again really important. Like there's you want to have pre-workout something that's easily digestible. Again, post-workout, you're not going to have, in my opinion, I don't have any fats post-workout because I want that food going straight in. I don't want it to be slowed down, right? And again, something easily digestible. I don't want, say, oats, for example. They're going to take their time. Rice for me, boom, in. So there's lots of different things that you want to incorporate, not just, oh, here's my calories. It's also your macronutrient breakdown. Also looking at why you're using different sources. So again, like I said, dark chocolate has some incredible properties. Avocado, incredible properties. Even looking at for my rest day, that setup, my first 3 meals are pro-fat veg only. So I don't have any carbs for a significant period through that day, through my rest day. And again, that just is going to make sure my insulin sensitivity is in a good place and just sets me up for a good rest day and a good training day.
Yeah. Here again, my man KL coming through. He says, do you have clients? If so, how do you educate someone who are not used to eating healthy?
So yes, I do take on nutrition clients, and I work with them on a one-to-one basis. So through that, they have, of course, their like weekly check-ins, right? But how I actually help to educate them off the back of that, I do have their coaching sheets. So that's like spreadsheets. I don't know how you guys do coaching over in the US. Some people do apps, right? But I use like Google Sheets, etc., because it allows me to input so much information. And with that, I'll be able to first take them through a consult, be able to get to know them, right? Not just talk about their short-term goals, but long-term goals. Get to know what they like to eat and what they don't like to eat. But it's really important to focus on those goals to begin with. So say, for example, a client comes to me and they are wanting to be an Olympian, right? Then I'm sorry, we're going to have to do every fucking thing that it takes. So it's not going to have balance and flexibility. It's going to be, I'm going to get you exactly what you want in the next however many years or in the best possible position in order to get there. If someone comes to me and they're genuinely just trying to be healthy, the most important aspect of that is sustainability. Because what you see nowadays is people getting a coach and dieting, and the first 6 weeks are great. They lose so much weight. And then because it's not sustainable, because they're being run into the ground with high cardio, low food, they're miserable. They don't enjoy what they're eating. Then they just flip flop and they yo-yo diet. They gain it all back on. Or when they leave the coach, they gain it all back on. So it's about that sustainability. And I work with all of my clients, actually. I've worked with such a prolonged period of time because it isn't just here's a meal plan, here's a training plan, off you go. I check in with my clients, some of them every single day, and we'll just talk about like, how's this, how's that. We'll make changes when necessary. So their training program, if something feels off or not, they send me their training clips, like their form clips, so I can educate them even on their training intensity, how to improve. We speak about like structure and routine of their day, how to improve again their sleep, maybe like sleep hygiene. There's so many elements to coaching that I feel are not even touched upon, that so many people can elevate their everyday life by having a coach. It's not just about, oh, I want to step on stage. It's like, oh, I want to become a healthier version of me, right?
Yeah, I understand that. I'm a little bit hard headed. I'm old fashioned. I just like I try to like when I was younger. I used to play football, lift weights, and did
Yeah.
that. Then I got into the real world. Then I became this. I became like I ate the baby. But
Nothing is ever too late as well, I may add.
I
Nothing.
understand because I've interviewed ladies who were in their 50s and 60s who got into
Yeah.
bodybuilding, and it takes time. You have to be patient. Also, as you know, earlier we were talking, she did compete at a show. This was the Big Weeder. This is one of the pictures from it, and she was look at guys, wow. She didn't get a pro card. She was in, I think you were, what class you were in that show? Was it A, B, or C?
So there was only 2 classes because of it was just like A and B. So this is height class B, so the tallies basically.
Yeah. And what got you to do this show? Especially, like I said, this like you live in the UK, and there's so few worldwide shows here in the States compared to overseas.
Yeah. Honestly, I've never competed internationally until this year. Well, last year. And it was just a goal of mine. And I said, I want to stand up on stage with the best of the best. I do not see any point in stepping on stage where, oh, you're going to win because there's just shit athletes. What is the point? So, what is the best of the best? The American Ben Weider. That is honestly it. There's nothing more to say about it. I wanted to be up on stage and be like, right, what do I need to do to become one of the best of the best? So now I can see the feedback, the information. I've got obviously the photos. I can see the athletes that I was against and be like, yeah, you're so much better than me. I'm going to get there one day. My time will come. But now I know what I need to do.
Yeah, because as you know, actually, how I got up with her was Female Body Channel. We're talking about. I've had the pleasure of working with AJ and JB a little bit before in the past. They posted about natural competitors, and she was one of my comments. And I told her there's a. I don't know if it's going to be. I don't know if it's a worldwide show. It's a Pittsburgh's coming up. They have a natural show. I think it's more for nationals here in the States. You have to get a regional qualification. Then you can do the
Yeah.
show. But like I said, still, even though there's still opportunities, there's like the Amateur Olympia they can possibly
Yeah.
do. There's in another couple of months is the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. They do amateurs also. But like I
Yeah.
said, you feel like you feel more comfortable competing against natural competitors and enhanced.
No, I don't. Since 2019, I have consistently always done both shows. Even this year, I did untested shows. So I did an NPC in the UK, which was untested, and I came second. I don't see like I think bodybuilding is bodybuilding, so I love competing with whether they're assisted or not.
Like I said, I was talking earlier. I was like, there was a young lady. She competed at nationals, which was this past December. She didn't turn pro, but she does also competes in the OCB and also other national confederations. Her name is Natalie Hayes,
Yes,
and yeah, and she's young, and she has also I think she's self coached herself.
she
She has
is.
potential. We were talking with the I was on with the AJJB. Instead of doing women's bodybuilding, she did figure. I think that probably would probably got a qualification as a pro. Physique was good for her, but women's bodybuilding, if you're not as dense, if you don't have those roused muscle bellies, I think it's a lot easier for women to cross over. There's one lady I follow also. Her name is Liz
Oh
Gago.
God, yeah, yeah,
I see her. She can possibly move over to NPC. I
yeah,
mean, and she probably can do well because she has a great look to it. It's more the aesthetic look of what physique in the NPCIB was supposed to be,
yes,
but it's running away from it because I'm looking at women. even in figure, who should be doing physique. I'm looking at women in physique doing women's bodybuilding. I think with natural competitors, I think it's easy to cross between certain divisions because you did figure and you're doing physique.
Yes, I think it's when you're looking at different federations, especially, it is easier to cross over. Also, you've got to think that it's quite easy to manipulate a peak. So for me, my women's physique peak was, yes, I had carbohydrates, but for my OCB figure show, I peaked carbs quite heavy. So it's quite easy to manipulate the look based on what you want to achieve. As long as you know what the criteria is, also without sounding like, I don't know, too much. At the end of the day, I'm a posing coach, right? I know every single category, criteria, federation inside and out. So my ability to manipulate my physique to ensure that I'm hitting that criteria is also possible, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like this is one of my favorite quotes from a favorite movie, Batman Begins. Liam Neeson, who played Ra's al Ghul, said to Bruce Wayne, played by Christian Bale, say like this: "Beware of surroundings, young Master Wayne. Never give up sure footing for a killing blow." And that's the thing is, you have to be aware of your surroundings dealing with sport. We have here a comment from my man KL, who's sticking in here. Appreciate you, brother, coming through. He says this: "What do you need to do in terms of getting better?"
I
So
love
like,
that.
yeah. So like the last show, what was critique from the judges? What do you feel like you need to improve on? What did they told you?
So I took the critiques from them and I agree with them, but I also see a lot more weaknesses that I want to improve on. So they said for me that I need more shoulders and more back. Yes, agree. However, when I look at my shots, like, where you have the one that's all four of us, I don't think, like, my width, I almost look one of the biggest in that lineup. I don't know. Can you get it back up?
Yeah, I can get it back up.
Right? Like my width, I look pretty wide. Um, but my shoulders, definitely, I could definitely get more in my shoulders. For me, my arms massively stand out. I think my arms look so weak. I think I need more bicep, but also more like tricep, like just like thickness within my arms. But then I don't think we do have like a back shot here. But like I mentioned earlier, my glutes and hamstrings, the density there that's missing, I need to bring that up a lot.
Yeah, I know. Like the lady who won a pro card there, I just reached out to her. I'm hoping to get her on board. She, take your time. Go ahead. I think her quads was just a little bit more denser. Also, and that's the one thing. And I've often heard this: the back can make or break how you place at a show, because you want that good width, that good thickness. You want also again, you want that fullness in your shoulder. Give her a moment, folks. She has just a little cough, so she's back here. We got a comment from my man KL of the Wanderer. He says this. He says Natalie Hayes has a nice physique. She does. I mean, like I said, she's a young lady. I think she. I hope maybe she'll try another show. Again, if she doesn't have a coach, but if I was a coach, I would say do figure. I know it's a lot. You have to start walking in high heels, but it would fit you. I think fit some people better because I'm looking. Like I said again, I look at some competitors who I've seen that could do up to women's bodybuilding. One particular person we were talking about earlier, somebody you know, and I follow her, Sarah Bradley. And Sarah, I've seen stuff with Sarah. I honestly, you can tell her this for me. I honestly feel like she could do well in women's because I know one lady that she knows also. I've interviewed Rama Skokson, and Ramana, she was doing women's bodybuilding, women's physique for a good while. She switched over. I mean, she's shout out to her husband, her boyfriend, not her husband yet, Dan. They're planning on getting married. I hope they have a great upcoming wedding. But I think she has that potential because I think she's still young. She's like about the same age as you. She's still in her 20s.
She's
And
29, Sarah is.
yeah, yeah. So she still has time to grow and develop because she had to hit that muscle maturity.
So with Natalie to start, I think if you see her front on, she is definitely women's physique. So for figure, they need almost like much more wider, like clavicular kind of shape. Whereas she is very athletic within her. She doesn't have much like whoosh, whoosh, whoosh within her physique. So women's physique, I think, is perfect for her. I do think she's women's physique instead of women's bodybuilding because I think she's quite long limbed. She'll be successful in both because she's an incredible athlete. But I think when I look at her, I definitely see women's physique. With Sarah, I obviously this is going from natural to assisted, right? With Sarah, we spoke about this funnily enough yesterday. You'll have to tune into new podcast because I think you'll love it. So she even said this, that so many people keep saying to her about going into women's bodybuilding. And the thing is with Sarah, she's standing up on her own, she might look like really dense, etc. And then you put her in a lineup, and don't get me wrong, she's fucking incredible. She's massive, but she is still women's physique. She's not women's bodybuilding yet, whether she wants to, whether she will. But at the end of the day, her aim is to be at the O in women's physique. And she has that. She's got that level to get there, you know? So not women's bodybuilding yet. In my opinion, women's bodybuilding, almost like if you look at their midsection, I think that says a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if you, like I said, it's evolved. I've been following bodybuilding since I can remember.
Yeah.
You know, my older brother, he played football. We used to get the muscle mags. And then I grew up with guys like Lee Haney, guys like Samir Banu. I even got to meet Kerry Laverne while I was at Tampa. I shook his hand, told Mr. Laverne, you should have been Mr. Olympia twice at least. You know, Dorian Yates, who's, you know, your fellow Englishman, you know, one of the
from Birmingham, from where I'm from. He's basically my dad.
Yeah, 6-time Mr. He's talking trash about. I actually got to meet Derek Lungford at Tampa, and I didn't realize he was that short. I thought, you know, and it has evolved over time from Arnold to, you know, to Sampson, another fellow UK, also from people like Corey Everson, Linda Murray, Andrea, who I'm, you know, she's my girlfriend, and you know, and also it's just, I think everybody got to find the division works for. Like I did this comparison one time. This is Angel Yo and Natalia Cuejo, and even though there are some differences, but yet you can see some slight similarities, especially, you know.
Yeah, but do you know how I said about women's physique? Like, look at how, her midsection is like, her waist is so like tiny. It's like that swooping shape, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas, you know, on the left, it's more of a like thicker midsection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
obviously overall musculature and condition is almost there, but there's definitely the difference.
Yeah, and like I say, Natalia, just like you, she's 29. She still has that time to grow. She's been competing for years. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Natalia, but a while back I was doing a live and she popped in and we talked a little bit. I respect her as a competitor and what she does. Not a big fan of her jumping in shows. When you already got your spot, you already Miss Olympia physique. Why are you jumping in shows? Taking somebody's spot. It's about competition. I understand that. But then you're taking somebody's spot. You work hard just as you did. But that's just me. I got, well, it was old Clint Eastwood would call Outlaw Josie Whale. He left for the grudge. Sometimes I live for the grudge. We have here a comment here. Shout out to my man here, KL, the Wanderer. He's always picking on me. He says he loves naming all these bodybuilders like collecting G.I. Joes. Because like I said again, my brother, I have to be aware of my surroundings at all time. That's the thing. When we do this content, has to be aware. He's more a fan of women muscle, but he's getting there. It's taking him some time. So this is something I ask you, ladies, especially. As you know, I have a particular type of personality. My other half says, like, there's some things in life that make you stranger, but make you stronger. So share it with me, Hannah. Tell me, where's that thing, especially after that show? Where's that thing that you wanted the most? That thing you desired, that thing that was calling you, especially after a long prep? Share with me. Share, what was your desire?
I mean, this is probably the worst answer for you because I didn't come off stage and like binge or anything. I had 2 mint Oreos and then I went to a Korean barbecue. That was it.
That's nothing, because I had ladies tell me crazy things. Some women don't believe in this doing the binging thing. Some do. But I know one lady, Barbara Majan, well, 5-time Miss Olympia competitor. She said her favorite thing was sushi. I told her,
Yeah.
ma'am, I grew up a poor boy, but not that poor to eat cold raw fish. My mom used to fry her fish. I'm from the South, man. We have a certain way we eat certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, because that's the thing is that it's important to eat the right things and also enjoy yourself. Like ladies,
Yeah, so that was the most important thing for me is that me and my man went out for a meal when we hadn't had. So I obviously haven't even spoken about like the length of prep and things like that, but I don't think we're going to have time the next like 10 minutes. But with my prep started the 3rd of March and didn't finish until the end of November. So we hadn't been on a date night since February. I didn't have a single cheat meal, off-plan meal or anything. I didn't, even with the other shows that I did that season, I didn't eat anything after those shows because I still had work to do, right? So I came home and I had my normal final meal after each show. So after that show, my final show, it was like, let's go and enjoy a date night together. So we got dressed up and we went out for a meal and just enjoyed what was in front of us. Weren't on our phones and things like that. We were just enjoying the event.
Yeah, that's the thing is you just enjoy time spent with your partner. I'm gonna let you have that and his support and enjoying yourself. That's a good thing. We have here a comment from my man K. Ellie he says I like Natalia's physique. It's all right, okay. Also, he says this. He says sushi not bad. You just can't eat it too much. Yeah, and also he has one more here. He says but it's not good eating raw food. Yeah, depending on the raw food. It's vegetables and fruits you can eat raw. Some people do that, but it's about what you feel comfortable eating. Like I said, we don't want to hold much too longer. Like I said, she got some things going. She's a busy lady. She got plans. Took time out to spend with me. But like for yourself, like what's that favorite thing you like to train, and that thing you say, shit, I don't want to do it today.
That's a really good question. So what I love to train, I'd say maybe like the favorite exercise, the exercise that makes me like almost scared beforehand, right? Like actual barbell squats. Like because I've been training since I was so young, I think, and because I started training before, or like I was in fancy gyms with machines and things, like under a barbell squat, like Smith squat, like true squat, whatever that is just terrifying and so satisfying all in one, because there's no feeling like it. You're either going to crumble and die or you're going to get it off the fucking floor, right? So that's probably my favorite thing. And then the thing that I actually used to hate training was my glutes. But weirdly enough, I think because I'm now like, no, this is my focus, this is my goal, this is what I need to fucking do to be better, I'm starting to enjoy them. So it's actually quite hard. I don't think I hate anything. I don't think I don't enjoy anything. Oh, maybe biceps, because I find it boring. But again, I need to do it. So it's one of those.
You need to do everything to be more of an overall, competitor. Really prove under one things, work on your strength as much as your weaknesses. And it's good that you have people in your corner, like your family and friends who support you, your man who supports you, your partner who supports you, and the people that are around you. And again, why I talk about this, people need to understand you are an athlete. And then I know people might make comments like, wow, she's right. She got muscles right. She's trying to be a dude, trying to be a man. No, it's a lovely lady, guys. I don't know. I don't see anything manly. I'm a man, I got boobs like more than some women. So this is where respect comes into play. And also, like I said, you're a businesswoman. You understand business. I would, if I could, I would love to sponsor competitors. I would love to help some people out, especially the struggles of cause and expense. But you got to be careful. These guys out here. Hannah said, "You're a cute little girl, Hannah. I like your little British accent. I got some plans for you." No, you sick freak. Stop it. This is
Yeah.
somebody's child. This is somebody's, girl. This is what you want to do when you approach this. Miss Mitchell, we have a particular plan for you if you're interested in it. We are a company who like to sponsor athletes to help them in their path. I know you're from the UK, but we've seen that bodybuilding has grown across the world. And being a national competitor is something that maybe inspire people to get into fitness. So if you are interested in working with us, you have a plan that might help you in your process. And even in exchange, you'll be an ambassador for our company. So, madam, if you feel like this is something you might be interested in, let us know.
Oh, that is so amazing to hear. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we can obviously discuss off air. Off air. But
Wait, that's just my skit. I don't do that. I'm broke. I'm broke. That's my skit.
Oh,
I wish I
okay.
could do it, but that's why I say that I wish that more people would realize this isn't my bodybuilding because of the stream part of it, of the use. But you're not an enhanced competitor, but still because you're put into that same path as that because it's not as mainstream as other sports. It doesn't get recognition. Soccer, football, basketball,
Yes.
baseball, those sports get more attention. Just watch some fights came on. I do content on women mixed martial arts and in combat sports. Those sports get more recognition. That's why I want people to be more open minded and give you opportunities. People like Andrea, she should be up there with the top competitors in any sport. I wish it was more for your amateurs. We got to understand when we go to your show, and I said again, a lot of guys who follow my stuff, they like the muscle women. We go to shows, we see y'all competitors up there on stage. We don't understand what it took you to get there. The training, the dieting, the all that's involved in being a bodybuilder. We see these buff, beautiful bodies,
That's
and
it.
and then we got to understand what it took you to get there. But you're gonna
And
have
it
some
wasn't
guys.
just the prep. It wasn't the 40 weeks. It wasn't the 10 weeks, however long people prep. My prep was 39 weeks in total, right? But realistically, I've been prepping since 2019, right? I haven't missed a day. There's not been a single thing that I've missed since 2018, realistically. So I think so many people just think, oh, look, well done. They got on stage and they did a 20-week prep. No, I've done a 10-year prep, right? And it's massively undervalued. But I guess, again, it just depends on what other people they may be following, other bodybuilders they may be following that maybe aren't living the same kind of life.
It's about choices and what's important for you,
Mm.
and what's important in your process as you grow as an athlete. So, are there any plans to do another pro qualifier, or are you gonna, or try to maybe come here? As you know, the Orton's gonna be coming around about this summer, I believe.
Mm.
Maybe compete.
So, as a natural athlete, I think it's really important. I have never done a back to back season. I think that if you ever do a back to back season, you have to be entirely satisfied that you are not going to bring an improved package. Fact. Because all that you will do in the time between that season to then step on stage again next season, I'm still recovering right now. I will still be getting almost probably building the muscle I lost within a prep, because as a natural athlete, you will lose a level of muscle if you get in stage condition. I would caveat that. True stage condition. So if you then start a prep again in March, I have 8 more weeks until I'd be prepping again. I will not have made any improvements. So for me, I won't be stepping on stage again until 2027, but I most definitely will be doing a Yorton Cup qualifier, the Yorton Cup. So see me there. I will most definitely also be doing an NPC, whether that is in America or whether I stay in the UK. I do not know yet, but I definitely do have a few shows in mind, my few shows with my eyes on for sure. Back to PCA, I absolutely adore PCA as well. Within the UK, they are an incredible federation. So yeah, There's also quite a lot rising within the natural federations as well within the UK. So UKDFBA are one that have made significant changes over this year particularly. So I'm very excited to see what happens this season for them and going into the next season. So it'll be a good one. I'll make sure of it.
Well, young lady, I would say I wish you all the best of luck in that. I mean, you got your partner in your corner helping you out, got people to support you, family and friends that support you. That's the thing is that's most important to have those people in your life that understand. Some people I've talked to ladies that their families like, hey, what you doing? Friends change.
Yeah.
Relationships. I knew two ladies who told me that they got divorced because they got into bodybuilding
Yeah.
because it's such an investment in time. But you found something that you enjoy what you do, and you have accomplished quite a good bit being working nutrition, working in posing. I would say like this: if you take your time, you can possibly get your pro card. If it's not here in the States, it's over in the UK, wherever. There you have those tools, but like I said again, it takes time to hit them. So, folks, like I said, again, we're going to say thank you to the lovely Hannah. Oh no, you can't. Okay, he has to say something.
He's got to come back.
Yes, it's Hannah. I want to tell you something, and this is very important. You are beautiful. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
I think I've made it.
Yeah, he's been very nice.
Who needs a pro card when I get a
Yes,
comment like that?
yeah. I hope you made it here. I don't want no trouble. No trouble with a big man like him. Nah, no trouble.
He is here now. He did hear that.
Well, sir, no, I don't. I just had a little fun with your girl. Nothing
He's
more.
coming. That's it. You're gone. I'm joking.
Yeah, okay, but I'd like to thank my man Kiara One for coming through. Anybody who watched this video, comment, subscribe, follow her. If you're interested in supporting Hannah in her upcoming shows, or just reaching out maybe as a posing coach or anything else, reach out. Her links in the description of this live. Show respect, guys. Don't be those weird guys. No weird shit. If you have problems, they'll kick your ass. You want to give a shout out to anybody before we let you go?
No, I just want to give a shout to you, just as a thank you again for this opportunity. It's been lovely, really, really nice. Great to get to know you more as well, and I'm looking forward to listening to all the other incredible women that you do have on that you shout about.
Well, I got an interview coming up this Friday with a young lady Sable Smith, who was at the show
Yes,
also.
yes,
I reached out both of y'all about the same time, and she
unreal.
just responded right after you responded. We had to set it up because she with her time, but
Yes.
I think she has the great potential. Maybe I feel personally maybe she meant to do figure, might do better. That'd be a great start out when she get into EPC. I know it's natural, but we stop at when you stop at these big stages with these competitors, you have to come in with your best. And I think she has that. And just like yourself, just about time, process, and trusting, not like this, not trusting the process, understanding it, and then trusting it.
Yes.
All right. And a quote from my favorite movie again, Batman Begins. He's another half of me. Sometimes I don't bring him out too much. Where he says this, whenever time somebody says thank you to me, I'm like this. I'm like this. Somebody in Dark Knight says, you never have to. Because this is why I do this. This is like, this is my thing, being a hero. I want to be an advocate for you ladies. And like I said, you just never need to thank me. The Dark Knight himself, like, swear to me. That's what he ain't like. That's what I don't bring him out too much. He can be a little extreme. So, folks, as said again, if you want to check out Hannah, you can go to the links in the live stream description. If you're interested in reaching out, working as a posing coach, nutritionist, anything you feel like you can use that, you don't have to be competitive. Somebody maybe want to change your lifestyle, whatever. Yeah, reach out your interest. But don't be that weird guy. She got a big man. I don't want him no trouble, okay? So
I mean, I also used to do karate, so I can look after myself.
I don't do karate, I do crazy. So, folks, again, shout out to Hannah Mitchell. Wish her best of luck. Hope we might see her in 2027, and maybe might go check that. I mean, I've been trying to reach out to more natural and university competitors. I've been really more in depth with NPC and IBFB because it's been like the standard for quite a long time. But I've been interviewing some ladies of PCA, ICB, and even other organizations, really expanding my interest in it. But folks, if you want to reach out to her, links description. Don't be that weird guy. Be respectful and appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am, for your time, and wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Yeah. Anyway, this is Mallory George Page, aka the Emperor of Film Body Talk. Like, don't like, subscribe. I'm out. Good afternoon. Good luck. God bless, and Happy New Year.